Hello? Hello. Let me put something more. Hello, Mar. Hello, Super Elaine. Week has been good. Had a few injuries here and there, but I've already recovered. And going to the gym, taking care of my girlfriend, and looking around for new games and stuff to do. How about yourself? Hello, Aisha. You got an interview that is pretty good. That's pretty good. Learning 3D modeling is pretty cool also. You should finish your sculptures. Oh. Let me just put out a thing for the people. As always, gonna wait just a tiny bit so that people can join in, and then we're gonna talk about what's being worked on. You guys should post your sculpture, your 3D sculptures on the art for the community so everybody could see. I've seen a few of the art that Elaine put it on Discord. Looks like Jaren also made a lot of 3D models. I would say that every time you do any type of work that being related to making models, making art, if you want to be like freelance, or if you want to work on that area, you have to kind of record or take some pictures of it and store it for your portfolio. Really important. Don't just like put your best stuff, put your worst and your best, because then people will see progress and be like, oh cool. And you also could make videos on it, like on Twitch. I usually, when I'm looking for people, I usually like to see their previous works. Because a lot of the people that, at least, I made the video on my YouTube page, but a lot of videos that I sometimes interview, they don't really update their portfolio. With practice comes, perfect. If it's something that you enjoy, then really doesn't matter if it's a low poly 3D model you can always train on everything. When I was trying to learn animation, I was learning on how to animate with a ball, and that was it. I was trying to make the ball feel like it bounced and it rolled, and although it sounded easy, it wasn't. See, ball animation from college. I also try to do. I've tried to do 2D animations and 3D animations, but didn't really have the time. Did a lot of drawing, a lot of art, but never went to art school. Oh, anywho, welcome to our Friday live stream of the week. I got a few important notice, a few important information that a few of you need to know, and that will be it. I think it won't be a large live stream. I asked Jaren to tell me what he needed to say, but he hasn't replied. I think he has a flat tire. But if he joins us, then he will tell his side of the story. Currently, we are in milestone 3. There was a tiny bit of a rework. For those of you who don't know, milestone 1, milestone 2 are already done. We have the improved flying mechanic, improved aim system, and then we have the status that are currently in the game, and we have the scent system and eating and drinking. And for milestone 3 and 4, we still need to work on a few aspects, but we have already dynamic weather implemented. And that's my little bird. So a lot of the issues throughout these past few weeks was because of animations and animators. So I went in a, let's say, journey of trying to find, although there were a lot of people who applied, not a lot of people were really that good. I had a animator that was specialized in dragon animations, but she did a flying animation, almost like a trial animation. She did a flying animation, but unfortunately then, as I was trying to give her more work, she decided to leave and abandon the position of animations or animator. And so we had to go back to square one, and then try to find people and still watching. You know, there are a lot of people that offer their service, but a lot of them, like I said, they are specialized more in human guns and stuff, but not a lot on, let's say, dinosaurs and dragons. Those who could kind of do animations for dragon, they were charging a lot, so I don't really have the budget to pay $200 for one animation, which is absurd, or even $400. For one cycle flying animation. But I eventually found a animator that is now working on our dragon, and hopefully by next week we will have some pretty new fresh animations into the game that currently they are still being worked by Jaren because he's trying to introduce. We do have a list of priorities, yes. Because a few of the things I have to say that is a little bit difficult is people love to do freelancing, and freelancing is pretty good. You know, you can be your own boss, but the problem is sometimes people overcharge for their service, and you need to know if they're up for the challenge. Same as an interview. So you either have to see them animating, or they have to kind of give you a set piece of that animation. But a lot of people don't want to do work for free, so you have to kind of pay them like either half, or you have to pay full price for a flying animation then that you later on see and be like, well, this is not worth the price. I think I read your resume, Elaine. I have to read it again, but to be a part of the project, you have to be 18 plus. I don't hire people below 18. So Jaren is in the chat, so you guys can talk with Jaren about a few questions, because he's also being he's working hard in real life and in the game. Depends on you know, the things on the list, because we have to redo the milestones, but our objective here is to kind of focus a little bit more on prototype and PvE aspects. And I also don't want to give away a few things on the list because it's supposed to be a surprise. But our current focus is to get a flying animation, or the overall mechanic of flying look and feel good. And then we're gonna go on to ground, and then after that we're gonna go to PvE stuff. But those are all heavily animation based though. The reason why we haven't launched publicly the prototype is just because we don't really have, you know, the animations ready, so we're just waiting for animations. A lot of things were done, a lot of things were added, a few things were fixed. And currently the people that are subscribed to our Patreon, they have access to the prototype, so they're currently playing and giving us feedback on bugs and stuff like that. Why don't they send videos of work in progress? I would assume when you say videos, it's more like proof or portfolio, but a lot of them claim to be under NDAs. So a lot of them say, "Oh, I'm on an NDA," and they don't really show. They just show you their work that they have done in 4 years ago, for example. I have to reevaluate and read your application. Is there a system when you know your application got rejected? No, you just don't really get an answer. And the reason why I don't give answers and replies, it's because although you might be, let's say, a sound designer or a map designer, although we do need it, it's not really a priority. So that's why I just leave your contact on that application so that later on I can reach out for you guys and talk. Because I don't want to give you the position, but you will stay as a developer, but you won't be doing anything for months until we have, you know, the movement, the animations, etc. So I will only hire when we actually need people. So, like I was saying, the overall change is that now we have our Patreon page. Everybody can check out the Patreon page. You can subscribe there for free, or you can become a Patreon for $5 to $10. If you want to have early access to the prototype, you have to go with the forgot the name, but it's the $10 pledge. And of course I do intend of doing an overall change to our Patreon page, add a few arts here and there to look beautiful and make things more professional. But if you want to have like a 1 week early access, you just have to pay the accessor donator. Ouch, my bird just scared the hell out of me. And like I also stated, we decided not to give anything exclusive until we have our hands on it, or the funds for it, because we do intend on adding skins. We do intend on adding a few exclusive stuff into the map for our supporters. That will only come later on once we are in a good state of the prototype, or once we leave prototype, because we have been debating and we were talking about starting to work on multiplayer. So it's something that might come sooner than later, maybe. And also because now our game will come to Steam. We have already everything set up, and for more information, you guys have to go and subscribe to Patreon, because I can't give you any details, but we are coming to Steam. For now, there is still it's still not finished. The game loop is still not finished. So the overall idea for the prototype is to be mainly focused on PvE, and also being able to have a functional let's say, quote-unquote single player mode where you can have fun by yourself. And once we jump on Steam, then that's when multiplayer comes on. The reason why we say multiplayer, it's, you have to keep in mind that when I say multiplayer, it won't be available for everybody in the game. So sorry that my sister needed help to open a can, but the overall focus is to have a little bit of PvE elements implemented. When I say PvE element implemented, is about, you know, taking damage by having temperature, taking fall damage, you know, having animals to kill and hunt, AI behaviors, you know, having things that can make you sick, puke, bleed. That's why we have the status already done. Because those things will make, you know, at least will make the game a little bit playable. So as we are working on the PvP or on the multiplayer, we're still gonna add PvE stuff, don't get me wrong, but you will have at least something to play on single player. I would really want the game to be 100 players, but because there will be AI, you know, a few events here and there, and a few other stuff, you know, we might have to narrow down those 100 players to probably 50. If not 50, maybe 30. So once we jump to multiplayer, don't expect a lot, because multiplayer will only be, let's say, for 5 people. Yes, exploration, like I said, it will be a big part of the game. You will have map, you have probably oceans, will have caves, you will have dungeons, you will have castles, you will have villages, you'll have a lot of things that you can kinda explore on your own and try to figure out what really happened there, you know. And there will be places that you will need to go to obtain certain stuff, but those certain stuff are pretty rare, and they will also spawn at random. That's why we're currently focusing on the flight system and focusing on the animations, because exploration will be one of the important things. So we want to make it so that flying feels good, feels comfortable, and also sound feels good and comfortable. Will you please say my username? Mythic. So that's why we are not really currently focusing a lot on ground movement, because visually. And what I do think a lot of people will be doing is flying around, exploring. So that's the important thing, having animations, having a good flying system, feeling like you have weight and stuff like that. And then I'm gonna move to the ground, and then we're gonna move to the AI, and then we're gonna move to other things. And PvP will be only later on, because PvP we need good animators and good people on the job to make it feel like combat feels good. There won't be any questing. You'll be able to collect a few things. That's the idea of collecting maybe like say rocks, branches to build your own nest. But you won't be doing quest stuff. You might, however, have to take care of your dragon. We still haven't built per se this system, but we are going to either make a level up system where, depending on what you do or your playstyle the most, right, you will get points on that level of skill tree or whatever you want to call it. So example is, if you are a person that is constantly flying, then your stamina might go up, so you can fly more and you might become a little bit faster. If you're somebody who hunts, then you might get an increase in damage. If you're somebody who takes a lot of damage, then you might get resistance, something like that. But there's still a lot to be worked on and to have like a pretty cool idea. There won't be quests. The idea of having quests, gather stones and sticks, it's really absurd. So the temperature, we are currently doing it globally to try and see how things can go. So the weather is globally, so it will happen on all of the map, but we're gonna switch that once once Jaren is comfortable with the weather system, and it will become certain parts of the map will snow, certain parts of the map won't snow, and the survival aspect when it comes to temperature will be severe. So in cold times, in cold weather, dragons that are not really that used to the cold will suffer a tiny bit, so you have to kind of migrate to a safe spot, or even you have to migrate for a place where there's sun or it's a little bit more hotter. So there we go. We have local temperature now due to our weather tool. Okay. Different types of dragon will prefer different types of temperature. So there will be ice dragon. So the ice dragon will basically live where there's snow, where there's cold. They won't affect him that much. And then you're gonna have the typical dragons that are fire dragons, for example. They will have to go to where it's kind of hot, or they will kind of survive places where there are hot places. The topic of seasons we haven't touched yet, but I have to leave that to Jaren to answer because it's something that we do intend on having. Because, like I said, the first map will be kind of a Western European theme, so having, seasons will be very nice. So you could see fall, winter, summer, etc. You should be able to choose your specific dragon, Inventor. I can't really talk a lot about that, but you will be able to kind of choose what type of dragon you want to be. If you want to be a wyvern, if you want to be a drake, if you want to be a European dragon, and then inside of those categories you will have different types of things. So you can be a wyvern, but you can be a fire-breathing wyvern, or you can be a poison wyvern, or you can have a spike tail or not a spike tail, or you can have, thorns on your head. You cannot have thorns on your head, stuff like that. So for now we're gonna focus on the European theme, and then once we go to the Asian themed, that's when we're gonna introduce the Asian style dragons. But like I said, we have to still talk about that because we can make it a system, for example, like Path of Titans, where you can choose your dragon and you can kind of choose what you want to have on your dragon, and it will give you a little boost on damage or whatever. Or you can kind of just click and that's it. You select the one that you prefer. And it will be cool if mom and dad, for example, if you decide to have a baby, and let's say that I'm more of a fire type guy, so my fire damage is pretty high or pretty strong, but the mother has a build that she has, I don't know, stronger wings. The baby would either get both, so he can spit fire pretty strong and have strong wings, both of worlds, or he can have either the fire breathing or the wings, etc. Something like that. Genetics will be passed down from father to son, but it will be random. Will there be magic systems outside of breeding attacks, or was it question? There won't be any magic system. Magic will not be included in this game. The early supporter roles, I think I have to update that, but the early supporter roles, they cannot be achieved or gained anymore. That is for the people who really supported the game early on. They will have their, perks per se. But right now, the only way that you can either get a role or support is from Patreon. I don't really know about Days of Dragons. Although, funny enough, they did commented on my video that I did. So you won't be able to breed as family, at least. That's what I intend to do unless things change. So if you're from the same family, you won't breed with your mom or your dad or whatever to abuse, the power. So the idea is to, when you spawn as a juvie and not as a baby. They said that now I am understanding, because I talked about the scammers and the issue of finding, animators. I did a video on that, and they comment that, now you understand, and they wish good luck. And another thing that I will actually say is that our Friday streams every week that we do every single week will end, and I will now do live streams every month. So by the end of each month, we are going to do a live stream to kind of talk about and showcase and stuff like that. So a lot of the information, a lot of stuff will go through Patreon first, and then we're gonna come to the Discord. And the last update for the prototype will be this one that the Patreons are currently playing. Maybe there will be a few tweaks of bugs here and there. Don't know if Jaren has already fixed a few bugs and stuff like that, but it will be free, like I said. But that will be the only, and that will be the last update for the prototype. After that, everything will be locked for the Patreons. And because, like I said, now we are on Steam, but we don't have a Steam page, but we are on Steam, we can handle keys. So keys will be given instead of, Google Drive links. Will dragons have unlimited breath with recharging cooldown? So or do you have to recharge with specific food like poison dragon have to eat poison plants? Yeah, we have something like that. They will have the bile, so you can't just spit fire for eternity. You might reproduce it naturally, probably, but it will take a few minutes to regen your bile. Or you kind of have to go and eat stuff so that you can regen that bile faster, so it will kind of have synergy with your digestive system. Is there some footage that you can show us right now? It doesn't have to be anything new, just like to see the footage. I mean, nothing really changes that much, but I can show you. There's no problem on me showing you. Nothing really changes, that much. There's a few bugs, fixes here and there, but the good thing that Jaren actually did that I was begging is he finally add a sprinting system, so you can now sprint fly sprint, which you couldn't, but he's still working on that. So this is looking like this because default settings. So let's put this on high upscaling. So this is the game. Let me take off this, do this, take off this, Voila. So a lot of things still need to be tweaked, graphic wise, lightning wise. But currently we have stamina, which now it works with our current stamina. This overall UI will change. You can see that you currently have a fire cooldown, but that will also change. So, like I said, a lot of these animations will all get reworked. So the walking, you know, is something that we are not really working on currently, but it's gonna be worked on because it's ugly. You can eat, I think, on this build. You can drink, but you know, we don't have a drinking animation, but it's being worked on, which is a bite. And ground movement, like I said, is not being worked on right now. We're more focusing on the flying stuff. So currently a few of these areas have the dynamic weather, so you guys can see that over there it's the local weather stuff. So we can sprint now, finally. And of course the flying animation will be worked on and changed. If we go over here, I think we are going to witness the thunderstorm. The fire itself looks, I think, normal, but we can test it out. The fire, even the breathing of the fire still needs a little bit of tweaking because I'm not really a big fan of how it works. Let's see here. let's see. So fire needs sound and an animation, but overall don't get too attached on how the fire looks and feels, because this will be changed eventually. At least this time the fire is optimized so you don't lose every single frame that you have when you use the fire. And this map will eventually disappear because we're gonna make a probably new map. So the dark will be something that I do want to nights to be dark, but we still have to think about if dragons will have already night vision implemented in them. So instead of being too dark, it'll be kind of visible but still dark. Or if we have the normal, press end for night vision. But I do think that the overall vision when it comes to dragons, they will be different. So there will be dragons that will kind of see well at night, and there will be dragons that won't really see well. It will be just a matter of how it feels and how it looks. The overall immersion. Because currently the weather just... it's pretty slow, but... oh, and so you guys know, you can't really look behind you, so when you see, the camera moving, this is the max angle that you can kind of see. So if you want to look behind you, you have to kind of turn your dragon and turn the camera. You won't really be able to kind of look behind you. But basically this is the updated prototype version, and things like animations and stuff like that will probably come next week. But like I said, people who want to play and try out the early build, the link will be down in our Patreon. Because also the overall idea is so that you are not really able to see. So if you fly during a thunderstorm or if you fly during a blizzard, you won't really see what's in front of you. So you won't have that perceptage of if you're near the ground or not, if there's a mountain in front of you or not. So it will make flying on those types of weather really dangerous, because if you decide to dive, you don't know if you're gonna dive into the ground or if you're gonna dive into the ocean, or if you're gonna hit a tree, or if you're gonna hit a mountain, and that will probably hurt a lot. Currently, that is what we have been doing. Sadly, we got halted by animations, but now next week, hopefully, we are going to have a few new animations that will be implemented, and you guys will be able to play it for free. But after that, everything that will come will be locked only for the Patreon donors. A few things are subject to change, and hopefully on, let's see, hopefully 28th of February is going to be our next stream. So our stream won't be, on the 31 of January. It will be on the 28th of oh sorry, yeah, 28th of February. It won't be on 31 of January. So for everybody who's watching the replay or the VOD from the live stream, the next time you will see us will be in 28th of February, and keep an eye on the sneak peeks, and also keep an eye on Patreon for those who are subscribed. Before I end the live stream, if you guys have any more questions, please feel free to ask. If not, I will end the stream and I'll see you guys in 1 month. Alright, then I'll see you guys next month. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the upcoming prototype, and you'll give us a few feedbacks, a few bug glitches. If you guys manage to find them, make sure to put them all on the Discord, because there are channels for that. And as for applications, do not worry, because I have read, or I'm gonna read your applications, and if you don't get contacted, that doesn't mean you didn't get accepted. It's just because I'm just saving you for a better time. So don't get your hopes down, and I'll see you in the next month. See you guys later, and good weekend.